that the Messiah is going to be more than merely a Rasul. He has to be more than that to fulfill the messianic prophecies. And yet those same New Testament writers, where are the people who denied this, is what I want to know. Those same New Testament writers identified Jesus as Yahweh, not as a separate God. You're assuming that Yahweh is Unitarian. The whole point of the revelation of the incarnation, the outpouring of the Holy Spirit, is that Yahweh is Trinitarian. It is the Father who sent the Son. The Father is not the Son is not the Father. But there is one being of God identified as Yahweh, and the Father is identified as Yahweh, the Son's identified as Yahweh, and the Spirit's the Spirit of Yahweh. That is, again, the amazing early testimony of the Christian people itself.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. White, with great respect, is a master of the attack when you really should be on the defensive, but the best form of attack, or defense for him really, is to go after his opponent with a vigorous attack. So he keeps saying that those of us who are biblical Unitarians, believing in the Shema, the hero Israel, which Jesus affirmed, we simply are not assuming anything. It's not assuming Unitarianism to observe that in the Hebrew Bible, God describes himself by singular personal pronouns thousands upon thousands of times. You don't hear very much about that from Trinitarians. Let me repeat that point. I want to suggest to you, and you can consult your English teachers, although you know this perfectly well, you've been using this form of language since you were 2 years old, a singular personal pronoun designates a single person. Well, guess what? Yahweh is a single person. He's a singular personal pronoun. There are no plural verbs with Yahweh ever. He's simply a singular person. There are 14 forms of the singular personal pronoun in English and in Hebrew. You've got I and me and mine, myself, he, him, himself, his. You've got thee, thou, thyself, and so on. About 14, in fact 14 I think exactly, of the singular personal pronouns. Now, in Judgment Day, those of us who teach will have to answer for this. What part of the word I don't you understand? Are we really to believe that when God says, I am Yahweh, or I Yahweh, or Jehovah, whichever it is, it doesn't matter, nobody knows for sure, I Yahweh, or I am Yahweh, that's about 300 times, more than that actually, that particular phrase comes along. God introduces himself as follows, I am Yahweh. Are we to understand I three am Yahweh? It seems to me a terrorist attack on the simplicity of language, and a very serious error. The Old Testament is not Trinitarian. Jews were never Trinitarian. Surely every scholar, you can look it up in the scholarly books, every scholar recognizes that in Judaism God was a single person, of course. That should be very clear. Designated by singular personal pronouns thousands upon thousands of times. So that's not an assumption, that's simply a fact. So then when you get to the New Testament, what do we see? In Mark 12:29, we see Jesus affirming that Shema. That's very important. This is to show that there is absolutely no change in the nature of the definition of God as one person. That's established as a fact. Paul is exactly the same. He speaks of one God, the Father, 1,300 times. Get that statistic clear in your mind. 1,300 times in the New Testament documents, God means the Father. This really is painfully obvious. Jesus affirms the Shema in Mark 12:29 when asked by a friendly Jew, in this case, what is the greatest commandment of all? What is your favorite text, Jesus, we might say? He was asked that. And he answers by quoting from Deuteronomy 6:4, where the Lord our God is one Lord, or we can say the Lord is our God, the Lord is one person. And you can consult the Be Greek expert on the internet, Dr. Ivor Larson, on that point. It's perfectly obvious. He's one person, one Yahweh, if you like, makes a difference. One Lord is not two Lords, not three Lords. That's established in the greatest of all the commandments there, the one that Jesus applauds and sanctifies and affirms in the strongest possible way. Jesus was a Jew reciting the creed of Judaism. If we don't get that clear, we run the risk of not praying like Jesus. Now, Christians are claiming to be like Jesus. What would Jesus do? We put round our wrists. Or better, what would Jesus say? What would Jesus say if asked to describe who God is, well, you can look it up in Mark 12:29. He would say exactly what a Jew said. They're in perfect accord and agreement there, that the Lord our God is one person, ys in the Greek. This is really not arguable. Check with your Greek experts. Check with your historians. Jesus was not a Trinitarian. That really is absolutely implausible. Shall I say preposterous. That the Jews, who were given the oracles of God as their prized possession, divinely given, had not understood that Yahweh was triune for all of those centuries. That's incredible. I wish the rabbis would rise in protest. I hope they will. No, Jesus is reflecting the creed of Israel, which is perfectly clearly Unitarian. That's not an assumption, that's a fact. Unless you're going to show that the creed of Israel was Trinitarian, I don't recommend you go for that one, because you'll be laughed out of court very quickly. Jesus comes on the scene as a Unitarian Jew, affirming as the most important command of all the oneness. I hate that word oneness because it's very vague and philosophical. The fact that God is one single person is the way to put it, reflected by those singular personal pronouns all over the New Testament and the Old Testament.